is. Hello, everyone. It is your buddy and your pal, Aewch, back again with What You Been Watchin', the TV and or movie review show here on the Aewchcast. And as an added bonus, I'm trying this live. Because why not? Again, check this out. Twitch.tv/Aewch. Yes, it's one of those things I'm lucky enough to actually have that name, because it's hard to tell with like the fake internet names and all that kind of stuff, where, you know, people will just grab random letters and call it their name. Mine at least sounds like a name. I at least have that going for me. So here we are, twitch.tv/Aewch. Follow me there, you'll see the notifications. Or if you're on the podcast side, same thing, anchor.fm/Aewch, or your favorite podcast aggregate of choice. Everything works, assumingly, and I'm actually doing it at a decent frame rate, amazingly enough. I was scared of that. That's kind of what stopped me the first time. It was just like, oh hey, you have 3 frames. Not 3 frames a second, just 3 frames. So, here we are, what you've been watching. You know, even with the limited amount of marketing, it's not obvious. No, I am completely coming this up with it off the top of my head. No, that's not obvious. So, but you know, the little bit of knowledge I have, it's always so curious when you look at old filmmakers and at just how obvious they do their marketing and who they do it to, who's it for. There's no shame in who they're going after. You know, let's see here. What's my joke? You know, if you have talking animals, it's a kid's film. If you're throwing Jason Statham around like a piece of garbage, it's an action scene. But the biggest way they did this was when they were going after the teenage market, especially 1950s, 1960s, something like that. Like, it's that teenager-centric audience. Okay. I'm going to have to do notes because or else I'm just going to keep on cheating and trying to read a script. I'm live. We'll do it live. So, but no, especially when they would go after teens, that group. It's just the level of lack of subtlety is just crazy. It's just like, parents just don't get it, right, gang? It's not the most transparent thing in the whole world. So, the theme for this episode of the Mystery Science Theater Madness is those kooky kids. These are all kind of teenage-centric themed films. It's not quite blaxploitation, but people have probably heard of Dolomite more than any of these films. So, without any further ado, let's get on to what I've been watching. This is more for the podcast audience, but hit the music, please. That'll make more sense in editing. Okay. Oh, yes. The first movie for today. Like, probably starting to become one of my favorites, surprisingly enough. Check this out for production value. LaserBlast from 1978. This is like, now I'm already cheating because this is a more of a sci-fi kind of push, you know, little horror, scary movie kind of deal. But I'm already cheating. But to be fair, all the stars are like in their 20s, so it kind of counts. Let me see, look at my facts. Alright. 1978, LaserBlast, exclamation point included. Directed by Michael Ray in his only movie, stars Kim Malford, Cheryl Smith, Eddie Deason, and a guest appearance by Roddy McDowall and Keenan Wynn. We'll get to those guys in a minute. This was Eddie Deason's his film debut, actually beating out his Grease appearance, basically doing the same kind of nerdy, kind of geek character. So you have that. What else do we have there? I mean, to be fair, I kind of like this poster because it's just terrible. Like, the main star is, the front and center, but it looks like Gary Busey holding a tape recorder. You guys want to be on a podcast? My Gary Busey impersonation, not great. But I think the only other somewhat kind of mean thing, Kim Milford, the main star, he plays Billy. He is your center guy there. Now, in the movie, he's a dashing young man. I'm comfortable with saying that. He looks good. I would say even hunky. The 70s standards, but you get the idea. Now, if you go to his IMDb page, they use the alien makeup from this film as his picture. That's so mean. That hasn't been changed yet. It's not a self-esteem builder for sure, but you never know. I feel so bad. I know, like, he has actually passed away, very early too. I think at like 35 or something for him. But the fact that that's his picture being memorialized in there, that's almost unnecessarily mean. But LaserBlast, I do it. So again, so the main star, Billy, they tried to portray it as the social outcast of the film for 70s, but again, like, super skinny, cut dude, like, halfway dashing. Like, no one's believing he's getting beat up or picked on, but he somehow is. Like, the town bully and geek kind of make fun of him. The town cops are constantly hassling him for some reason. It's just such a weird mix that, like, you're kind of actually good looking. We're going to take you down a peg or two. It was just so good. So, Billy goes through his day, completely aimless. I feel that. But he ends up going to this part of the desert where basically he just kind of prances around. There is no real other good way to describe it. That's what he does. So out in this desert, he finds the titular LaserBlast, the gun. So he puts it on. Let's see here. And then, like, from there, you can kind of guess. He starts using this laser blaster against basically anyone who wrongs him, which is a pretty long list, especially towards the end of the film. Users a chance to roll the greatest droop dog. So the film is, fairly obvious, honestly, just because, you have a laser gun, you have a kid. He's going to use it. So now the laser blaster came from, give a wild guess. Now, if you say claymation turtle aliens, you are either a good guesser, you read my script, or you're on a weird scavenger hunt. Because this was such a weird choice in the movie to me. Like, these turtle aliens, like, take a turtle, take out the shell, take what you think the body would look like. That's basically what these aliens are. They are central because they are basically watching the movie with you for some reason. Like, and they're in this ship that they cannot hide in. The scope and scale is never really quite figured out. It looks like it's a stadium-sized ship that's landing out in the desert. Could be, could not be. But the whole thing was, they apparently just completely forgot to grab the laser blaster. Like, there was one guy who already had it at the beginning of the film. No explanation how he got it either. But they vaporize him, and they're like, all right, our job's done. And then they leave. They completely forgot to get their darn weapon that they were chasing after. And it's just like, they were acting like they were running so that no one would see them. But you're in a ship like the size of a Star Destroyer. It's not going to make a difference. Everyone sees it. So they left. They accidentally leave the laser blaster. They are now watching the movie, and Billy look at and use the laser blaster, and they're just like, oh, that's what we went there for. The laser blaster. Right. Ooh, we have to turn around. So again, even like that was just a weird thing, a weird creative choice having aliens. You kind of have to because of sci-fi rules and stuff like that, but they're not bright aliens more than anything. So now, one of the things that I do like in the film is how this cast of characters is almost immediately memorable. Like, it's no matter the size of the bit part, you kind of keep them in your memory a little bit. Like, Billy's mom pretty much immediately leaves, but she's like so skinny, like her hip bones could cut a person. She's there in these like form-fitting pants, but she's gone immediately. She has like 3 lines. It's like, Billy, you'll be fine. And like, that's it. Like, Billy's girlfriend has a dad who is like a crazy military veteran who's suffering dementia. He like, you can kind of get his gimmick real fast. Who else do we have here? But you have Billy. He has his rival, kinda, I guess. And then Eddie Deason plays his pet geek, so they bother him. They have the cops in town, which are more questionable of how they became cops. Neither of them are intimidating. Like, one probably couldn't even do the physical tests that they do. He's just like, yeah, knew the mayor. So now I get to hassle teenagers. It's a great life. So, like, that's the one thing. It's kind of like, in a really weird reference, Homestar Runner. Not in quality, mind you, but in terms of characters, memorability, things like that, those kind of connect and stay in, that where they leave a really good impression. Except Keenan Wynn plays this character where it's kind of like FBI, X-File agent, something along those lines. Like, he comes in, he does do the whole, who's in charge here? Not anymore, you're not. Like, he does do that. So he kind of takes over, but he barely does anything. Like, you know, he's following clues, he's leading things. He doesn't really arrest anyone either, though. Like, he just, like one of the side effects from using the laser blaster, Billy gets this, like, scab the size of a Pringle chip on his chest. And, like, they all, like, they bring him into the police station to question him. And it's just like, Billy, what's that? I don't know. You can go. It's like, this guy, he did. And then, like, you know, he doesn't save anybody. He just kind of walks in. It's just,
I smell pointless.
I don't know why he was there. Other than just, you know, he was in town for the weekend and he knew the editor. Who knows? It was not a great part. Again, interesting. Let's see here. I already did that joke. Oh, and then, okay. So, the thing about the laser blaster itself was, it seems to be its own alien entity? Kinda? Because it kind of starts jumping around with where or who his targets are. Like, if it's Billy, Billy takes it, and basically he'll go blow something up. And then they'll replay that explosion like 12 times when it's really just the same explosion over and over again. Where's my explosion button at? I know I have an explosion button, damn it. I can't. Oh, wait. Here it is. Boom. Wow, he blew up one car! Like, that's how all those are done. But, like, it's against people who have wronged Billy usually pretty immediately. Like, the bullies, the cops, understood, those are fine. But the doctor he goes to see, so the doctor takes a chunk of scab off of his chest, and he has to go out of town to this other lab. where then Billy then goes and explodes him. How did he know where he was going? Like, that information is never conveyed to Billy. It's just like, hey, we're going to take your skin fragmentations. Have a good day. Like, so Billy should not have known where he was gone, but guess what? Dr. Zaius still gets blown up. Let's see here. Got it. Okay. But, all that aside, I really, really, really enjoy LaserBlast. Now, it's a 70s film, so unfortunately, not a super happy ending, like any film from the 70s. It's pretty much, does your lead character die? Looks like you need to rewrite your script then, right? But, you know, again, I like the characters, I like the bit parts, I enjoy the story it goes on. It acts like it has a shoestring budget. They had some kind of special effects budget. I mean, even with editing multiple times, I think they blew up like 3 or 4 cars, newspaper stand, a billboard that just said Star Wars on it, that took out for some reason. So that kind of stuff, it is visually appealing. I wouldn't go all that way because, again, things from the 70s just have a weird kind of filth or grime on top of them. This movie doesn't necessarily have any kind of, illicit gains. Not like, drug trade or traffic cops or prostitutes or anything like that. It's just, laser blasting, which is fun. But I still really enjoy this movie. I think the outlandishness of it helps it stand out. My review says 8.5 out of 10. I don't know if I want to go that high because my second movie might beat it. I mean, maybe we'll just do an order of how I think they should be. So, LaserBlast, definitely a must watch, I think. I think Shout Factory TV, their website has it playing. Watch it on your computer, not on their Roku app, because you will get destroyed with ads. It takes an hour and a half, becomes 2 hours. I am not kidding. It is a drag, especially when it's the same ads over and over again. Ugh. Okay, but LaserBlast, check it out. Movie number 2. I have more free-flowing notes instead of an entire taped review. But movie 2, Village of the Giants. If that poster's not doing anything for you, I don't know what will. This is a great, now, stepping back, 1960s, a little more outlandish, produced by Burt I. Gordon. This was kind of his wheelhouse. That was the thing, is like these like schlocky kind of ideas. Mostly because I think he did the special effects where it's not quite the chroma key effect. He was shooting things to make them look like they were large. So it would be kind of like the bottle. This is not a giant bottle of green tea. I'm just affecting the viewpoint. And it's also being affected by the green screen effect as well. Anyway, but again, this one is another kind of ridiculous, highly entertaining stuff. But it kind of gets me too'd. Hashtag. You know what I mean? Because that's just a segment. According to IMDb, it's supposedly, according to IMDb, there's a part where where one of the female actresses said, okay, basically, Burt I. Gordon wanted to see all of our breasts, and whoever had the biggest breast was going to be the main star. If that's true or not, I can't judge. I can't say. I don't know. I'm just explaining the situation out. But Village of the Giants itself, again, same level of ridiculousness and wackiness. I think the 60s excels more in that kind of aspect in, outlandishness and ludicrousy in movies. because they were just really trying to be off the wall and things like that. So, focus. There we go. So the movie starts. Basically, they're not like evil teenagers. They're just kind of roguish, I guess would be the best way to put it. You know, they're trying to have fun. They're not like tough guy teenagers or like full hoodlums or anything like that. They're just kind of, what's a good way? They're just like tired of adults, basically. It's just like, oh, I'm 17. I can't wait to get out of here. And then they did. So it's like this group of 8 teens, 4 guys, 4 girls, crash in the rain and then immediately start dancing in the mud. That's the opening scene. And I mean, it's like 4 or 5 minutes of just them dancing in the rain, in the fake rain, in mud, acting like they were in Woodstock. Again, mud is just kind of gross to me. It's just like, don't like it. And again, to quote the movie, it's not really giving a whole lot of deposition, but there are a lot of wet boob shots. Take the good with the bad, I guess. So all these teenagers go to whatever the closest town is. It don't matter. It's the same. You can name it, Smileyville. It does not matter. Where basically Tommy Kirk from Catalina Caper, more known in MST3K circles, Tommy Kirk is the main, and also an interesting hit. A young Ron Howard stars as this kid genius stereotype where it's like he's just doing experiments the entire time. But for the most part, he just puts himself in danger because like he either makes something explodes, it goes off in his face, or in the really weird thing, it comes to life and goes down the drain. That's kind of creepy. But so Ronnie Howard, the kid Ron Howard, develops this goo or the substance where things, anything that eats it just grows. It's based off of H.G. Wells' Food of the Gods, FYI. So, fun fact, the substance they used as the prop for the thing, angel food cake, dyed red. Interesting. There was even a thing where the teens who end up eating it would just keep eating it to get in character. It's like, no, you just like angel food cake. No harm in that, but you just like angel food cake. So let's see here where I'm at. Ron Howard makes the thing. Again, so he makes this, compound that makes things big. This is where the actually interesting visual effects come in. When it looks like you have a dog sitting next to an entire science table, it's impressive how they do it. Like, all things for 1968, 1969, whatever, it's honestly well done for being it, because they use it the entire time in the movie. So they develop this thing. Tommy Kirk immediately feeds this compound to some ducks, and they grow big, and then somehow loses track of them immediately. Like, really big ducks. No one's gonna lose. How do you lose that? It's just like they're just outside, and it's just like, do you need us anymore? Okay, we're gonna waddle this way. So the bad teens get into town. The good teens apparently are trying to find these ducks, and they all go to the Whiskey A Go-Go, like this historic club in LA, amazingly enough. So, and then it's the usual teenagers dancing, supposedly whatever popular music was in at the time. People shaking their butts. That's what all dancing was in the 60s. Honestly, look it up. That's what it was. And then basically, the ducks somehow get into this club, which is a shame because they just tied strings on the ducks and then just were lifting them up and down to make it look like they were jumping around. It's a little not duck friendly, I'll say that. And for some reason, these giant ducks just become the talk of the entire club. So, if you know, it's all dancing is now too. Have you not heard of twerking? True, but to be fair, Shut up. Okay, you got me. I can't help you. But still. Ah, damn it. But still, that's just what it is. Oh, the kids today and the twerking. God damn it. I'm clicking too much shit now. And I want that one. Okay. So, alright. So, again, the club is in the maze. Like, look at all the ducks in here. It's like, okay, the ducks are the most interesting part of this club? Tony Basil as a kid is dancing on top of the stage and you're paying attention to the ducks? Just seems weird. So, again, Tommy Kirk and his friends come to the club and he just immediately takes credit. Like, he was acting like, we gotta keep this a secret. No one can know about this. Instantly, club full of people. Hey, everyone, those were my ducks. Thank you. I'm the duck guy. So now I don't want to call them punks because none of them are even dressed up by 1960s standards as punks. That's just like, they're all wearing cardigans and sweaters and stuff like that. It's just like, I can't call them punks. I don't know what to do. So the other group of kids are like, we got to figure out why he has giant ducks. It is like a main point for the first half of the movie. So, they try to get it through the club. It doesn't work. It goes to the next day. They have cooked the giant ducks, which probably not FDA recommended. But I mean, it was the 60s, so you never know. So they cook the ducks. The punk kids, again, not punks, but just kids, they find it. Big brawl ensues. They get away with it. So the kids go back to this abandoned theater. They all take it. And as you can see, they all become giants. Hence the poster. And by the way, the scene in this poster literally happens. Like, that has probably just got to be one of my favorite kind of ideas, is the fact that someone had to build a giant prop chest. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like that's just one of those things where it's just like, well, wait, what do we need? Really? Bert is this legal? So all the punk kids grow big, and especially the females. They, of course, you're going to focus on that. On the Mystery Science Theater DVD of this release, they interview one of the stars. Her shot is the camera, it's like a regular shot. The camera then zooms in to where her navel is. There's a stage guy behind her, pulling her, like, sweater back. She's not wearing a bra. So the shot is, they have to pull the sweater back so it looks like it does the pop, pop, pop kind of thing. And the camera just stays there and just lightly squeezes up her body to get back into her face. Impressive shot that they could somehow get away with it without messing stuff up. So, again, 1960s, that was risque for the time being. Impressive enough as it was. Ducks become taco. Next time, blah, blah, blah. No, nothing. Yeah, I did that. Now, so all the teenagers are now big. And they basically, all of their clothes become like Roman Emperor / carpet swatches? It's not super threatening. It's just a weird one. So what they had to do, they shot slow for big. So, like, when the kids had to move, like, talking, they could just talk irregularly. They kind of had no choice for that. But when they would move, they would literally have to do things like they had to force themselves to act like that, which was really funny because there's a scene closer to the end where the main guy is trying to throw, like, he's holding a pencil, but it looks like a pull where he has to do slow motion, fast motion all of a sudden. It just doesn't quite mix. But, like, with scenes where they don't have to interact with the small people, it's like they could just kind of slow that down. Which also makes the film twice as long because this dance scene introducing the giant teenagers goes on for like 10 minutes. It takes forever. And the whole town is watching. It's like, Wow, those are really big teenagers, right? Like, they do nothing but stare. It's just like, we would call someone, but everyone's already here. So it's just like, so they're all stuck there. The town seemingly is unfazed by the giant teenagers. And then the worst part is to get these shots of the small people interacting with the giants, they have to shoot at that distance to have it. So imagine you're like in the corner of an old-fashioned community theater. A character has to walk halfway down. You have to shoot the stage because ideally the teenagers that are giants are stuck there, but you have to get audio of the guy acting with him, but he's like 30 feet away from the microphone, so it just becomes what? It becomes so hard to tell, especially. Did the manager get the volume became an issue? Did that? All right. So the giants kind of take over the town. That's fine. There's this scene where they're trying to distract them because they have plans. The regular kids have to take the town back over from the giant kids. No one's on the same team. It's anyone's game. So they came up with this plan to distract the boys of the giants. Where it was, again, they asked Tony Basil, whatever. She sung "Oh Mickey," that's who it is. At her as a kid, they had her dance for these giant men, kids, boys, whatever. The idea is there, but it's like being attracted by something the size of a squirrel. I know it's not going to work out. It just doesn't quite make it. Let's see here. So they distract one set of kids. The other one just basically pulls David and Goliath. That's honestly all he really does. They come out. They're all just watching him. None of his spears ever hit for some reason. Kid Genius discovers the antidote, which is just pink smoke. He bikes back into town. All of the giants shrink back down to normal. The main bad kid gets punched and KO'd in one hit by Tommy Kirk. Not a source of pride, honestly. They all get kicked out of town. And then, the last scene in this movie, they get walked back out to where their crashed car is. They just have to keep on walking. You hear a voice off screen. Like, is this where the giant goo is? And she's like, yes, this is where the giants where goo is. It's like, thank you very much. And then it's just this line of little people walking into this town. It's like, you're gonna end this cheesy film with like a cheap midget joke? Really? And it's just like, that's not really comeuppance or anything like that. That's just kind of mean for sake of mean. Now, again, overall, massively entertaining. It's not boring by any stretch of the imagination. It does have a cheesecake factor to it, even though it's from the 60s and most of the actors are dead. It's, again, let me see here. So if we compare, so let's do this. So get them both active. All right. Oops, I grabbed the wrong one. Part 2. Okay. Comparing the two. Oh, man. LaserBlast. I kind of like the idea. Maybe a little more? Village of the Giants, I think, is more entertaining. Ooh, man, it's so even between these two. Both have a level of ridiculousness. Both have a clear, defined gimmick. You have the science fiction laser gun. You have giant teenagers in scantily clad clothing, 60s, in effect. I think Village of the Giants, just by a hair bit, is better than LaserBlast, because at least Village of the Giants has the entertainment factor, but even in the story itself, it at least comes back and it kind of gives you somewhat of a happy ending, even if it ends with a cheap little person joke. Like, again, my theory is basically every movie from the 70s has a bad ending. It's just someone's got to die, the world's got to end, anything like that. I think that hurts it a little bit more. So I will give Village of the Giants an 8.5. I think I'm going to give LaserBlast 7.5, 7 3/4. Both are really close. I like both of them a lot. I think Village of the Giants beats it out. Because, I mean, that's what they did to Kim Milford. What do I want to look at? Alien that or giant fake boobs? What do you want from me? Okay. All right, so. And finally, the third one. Pick it up. Not a whole lot of information on it. Like, when you try to look something up in IMDb and it just goes, you can only do so much with it. It is a 1960s hobo-melodrama called The Girl in Lover's Lane. Just scooch that to this side. Okay, now that looks almost film noir-y or whatever you want to call it. It really does not go all the way from there. Let me get chat list back up. So, all right. So, Lover's Lane. There is the character Danny, for some reason, wants to become a hobo. Like, whatever little bit of money he has left, he immediately starts hopping train. And within the first minute of the movie, he's already getting hassled and shaken down for the money. So he makes it onto this train where he meets his senpai. That's basically what it is. His senpai in homelessness. And the character name is Bix Dugan. Now I have to put that pause in there because if you say it all together, it sounds like his name is Big Stupid. So Bix Dugan, Big Stupid. It's right there. So they basically become a team and go to this town trying to be vagrants or whatever. This town really tries to act like it's Mayberry or whatever, and all wholesome and innocent, fish and pole on your back. It's nothing but hoodlums, back alleys, prostitutes, hoe houses. There's one nice pond and the diner where the guys work at. Those are about the only two nice places. So they basically get into street fights because they find out, hey, the two new guys, they got money. Easy targets. Let's see here. Again, Bunny Ranch scene. So now, basically the main thing that's going on is these new guys come into town. Big Stupid basically kind of starts a relationship with the owner of the diner's daughter who works there. Again, it's like a puppy love kind of thing, I guess is the best way to put it. I don't really know. But at the same time, the town creep of Jesse, played by Jack Elam, is also kind of trying in a way. Like, the guy who's got the eyes going one way and the other, just like, no, don't worry, I just like to look at you. Like, I think that's when it's like, no, it's okay, I just like to look at you. Hey, where's that mace gun at? Let's see here. Again, like a bad comb over, some pouty lips, a lazy eye. Can still leer at the waitress even though he's not looking in the exact right direction, that kind of creep. I mean, he is your paint by the numbers bad guy, honestly. Like, you see him and it's just like, oh, he's gonna do something bad no matter what. But the entire town folks is just, oh, it's just Jesse, leave him be. Let's see here. But yeah, so big stupid and the girl form some kind of relationship. Like, is he gonna leave because he's a hobo, or is he gonna stay? Things like that. But basically, the scene in the poster here is basically what happens in the movie, but it's so weird because it does the shot where, like, she's walking along the bushes or the pond or whatever. She looks up and, screams, ah! Jesse is, like, turning 90 degrees away, looking directly at the camera from this side, and then it's just like, hey. It's just a weird juxtaposition of the shot. It just didn't make sense that he wasn't looking at her like the traditional horror villain kind of scene. Okay. So, the town basically gets upset that the only wholesome woman is now dead. And of course, they basically all think, who would have killed such an innocent creature? Hobo. So they immediately chase down Big Stupid. They all are basically about to lynch him, essentially. Danny rushes back, goes, wait a minute, what about the evil guy? Doesn't he usually do something like this? And then he, Jesse gets pushed over once, and was just like, okay, I did it. And then everyone just goes, oh, that makes a lot more sense now. I know there's I do not have a button for that. All I have right now is an air horn. Works for me. I paid for this damn soundboard. I'm gonna use it. So, again, in the end, the town, I don't know if they really forgive Big Stupid. They all just go, well, I mean, Tuesday's over. I guess we'll see you tomorrow. And then, Big Stupid just walks away. And then that's honestly the end. It's just like, Danny's just like, let's go home, best friend, senpai. And then, that's the movie. Apparently, this is one of those movies where people either love it or hate it. And I just basically go, yeah, that's a movie. It's not, a comedy of errors. It doesn't really mess up too much. There's nothing bad or errors of judgment, nothing like that. It's competently made. It's just, a melodramatic piece set in the 1960s with hobos. It's just, again, compare it to, the other two episodes I've just mentioned. Obviously, there's not a whole lot there to compare it to. But it's competent. There's a story, there's an arc, it's a movie that actually takes you some places. It's okay. If you're watching the entire series, yeah, you can. I don't think you have to skip it or anything. I give this one, written review says 6. I'm probably going to say 5, just because there isn't a lot to the movie. You have the usual, some lousy fight scenes. You got some weird, just black and white, outsides of buildings and cities, stuff like that. There's an interesting choice of the scene in, the bunny ranch that's basically, again, 1960s risque more than anything, which was fine, but it wasn't that much, They were really going for, maybe, a prototype version of Rebel Without a Cause, kinda? Unless that predates it, but it does have that same kind of feel of Big Stupid being the anti-hero kind of thing, or the rogue vagabond with a heart of gold, whatever you want to call it. There's kind of in feeling like that a little bit, but other than that, it's kind of the same, Squaresville of 1950s, 1960s, good guys, bad guys, not a lot of characters. It's just the good guy is just Hey, I got $100. I don't know if we can get the change at this establishment. Like, that kind of innocence of being a good guy, but you're also kind of stupid at the same time. Again, I'd say 5. I'm doing it out of memory, but I would say 5 out of 10. So, if you gotta watch any movies, hit Village of the Giants, hit LaserBlast, Girl in Lover's Lane, you can come back to. That would be the best bet for me. Just because, it's not like there's a huge actor, it's not like there's a memorable moment or super scenes. It's an average movie at best. So, those are the 3 movies I have, amazingly enough. Alright, so let's wrap the podcast up. Thank you for watching. If you want to join me live, check out twitch.tv/Aewch. You'll get a post when I go live. I'll probably post it on my Twitter account as well, at JustAewch, capital J-U-S-T, capital A-E-W-C-H, same as Instagram. Or you can just stick with the regular way. Check out the podcast, anchor.fm/Aewch.